Hey guys, this is Ahmad. So, Kickstart recently announced their Facebook KPI integration, which is great. I haven't played around with it because we've been working tirelessly for the past 2 weeks on figuring out the KP solution because of the attribution problem that we've been noticing over at Facebook. Not particularly on Google, but right now on Facebook at the moment. So we've solved it using Google Tag Manager and Facebook KPI integration without Zapier. And the benefit of using these two things is that you're not limited by Zapier, and you can actually send more server events to the Facebook KPI and not just the purchase events. And you can actually send way more information to increase the match rate that you see, because Facebook assigns you a score based on the quality of information that you're sending to Facebook. Okay, as you can see in here, I mean, there's a bunch of different tests that we've been doing for the past 2 weeks. This recently got close to perfection, like 18th of this month. And the good thing about that is, after that, every event that we're seeing in Facebook Ads Manager, especially after 18th, is 100% accurate. Facebook is picking all the purchase events, all the add to cart events. I mean, we're just keeping an eye on purchase events, not other events. But from 18th, all of that has been 100% accurate. And the reason for that is because we're sending way more information. I mean, you can do that with Zapier as well, but I believe that it's I mean, when you want to send more information, Shopify recently announced a native integration that can allow you to send multiple events. But I think that's just limited to Shopify. And Pay Kickstart, I think it's only fighting purchase events. I haven't played around with it much, so I can't really tell. But using Google Tag Manager, we have the ability to send a bunch of different information that's going to help us increase the event match quality, which in turn is going to improve the tracking information, or resolve the attribution problem that you might see over at Facebook. So as you can see, we're sending a bunch of different information in here. There is some information is hashed and some not. Email address, pretty easy from the form. IP address, it's easy as well with Google Tag Manager. I'm actually going to walk you through how we're processing IP address information and how much more data we're gathering from the IP address along with the IP address information. User agent, phone number from the form, external ID, I'm going to talk about that as well. Browser ID, we're picking that information from cookies. So basically, with Google Tag Manager, you have the ability to basically grab all of this really valuable information from cookies, if of course the end user have actually enabled cookies. So if I go to developer tools, if I go to applications, cookies, you're going to see that FB So this is the information that we have in the FBP cookie, and I can actually pick that information in Google Tag Manager, and I can use that information anywhere I want. Okay, as you can see, cookie FBP. So this is what we've been picking up, and then we're sending that information after processing it from the payload server back to the server event. That's actually helping us improve the event match quality in here. Country region, I'm going to share about that as well. Town, city, surname, first name, of course, the form, and FBC, same information. It's pretty much the same thing, but just like FBP. But we're sending all of this information to Facebook. That's actually helping us improving the event match quality. And so far, after we did that, we've seen, like I said, 100% accurate purchase tracking. Okay, now a few things that I mentioned in here. Let's just go through these one by one. IP address information. We're using IP geolocation API for this. It's pretty robust, and there's a template built in from resource library of Google Tag Manager, so you can leverage that. So if you can just go to new and just type in here, go to discover more tabs in the computer template gallery, and then just enter IP. You're gonna see that IP geolocation API. Okay, so this is what we're using, and you can just grab the API information that they give you and plug that in. and you're going to get all of this information that you can use to enrich Facebook KPI and basically build better custom audiences and basically improve your overall attribution. Okay, few things to keep in mind though, that when you're getting all of this information, Facebook needs certain information in certain format. Okay, so for example, like country code in here, as you can see, it's PK, but you need to send that information in small letters because that's what Facebook recommends, and that's actually pretty easy to do that with Google Tag Manager. Okay, let me show you what that looks like. So once you have plugged that IP geolocation information in, you can just like grab that information in here in the form of data layer variable, and you're gonna see format value information like option here, and just plug that information to lowercase. And once you did that, you need to hash the information. So we're using like a hashing function that hash all of these information for us before we send that information to the server event. As you can see, email address is hashed, IP address that do not need hashing, the user agent that also do not need hashing, phone number is hashed, external ID, it's recommended but not mandatory, but we're hashing it anyway. And I'm going to walk you through what we're using for external ID as well. Browser ID not hashed, country, and there are few bugs that we've seen with certain events. For example, country region, that's buggy. It's actually picking country. It's actually country. I don't know why it's speaking as county or region. Maybe because it's a region. So we're not sure about that. We're not passing county or region information. It's actually country that we are sending to the server. Town, city, we're sending that information from the from uh, uh, pay kickstart form. Surname, of course, from the pay kickstart order form. First name from the order form, and click ID from the just same as thing as FPP that I've shared. Now external ID. Now, based on what CRM are using, it's always best to send that information from your CRM. So, for example, any lead, if you're using Active Campaign, whenever a user gets added to Active Campaign or a lead get added to Active Campaign, they assign a certain subscriber ID. That's the ideal number to use external ID for each lead. We're still trying to figure out how to send that information as soon as when someone joins the opt-in via any event to the active campaign list. That's not happened yet, but right now uh, we have a we actually have a workaround for that, and right now we're using Google Analytics client ID and sending that information as an external ID. Okay, so let me show you what that looks like. Client ID. So this is the client ID. As you can see, this is the client ID that we're picking in, and then after hashing the client ID, we're sending that to the external variable form. Okay, so let me just show you what that looks like. Client external ID. Okay, as you can see, so this is actually the hashed client ID that we're sending in the form of external ID. Now, so this is what actually help us improving the score as well, and of course the tracking resolve the attribution problem to some extent. Now, in order to achieve this server tracking, one thing you need to make sure that you have proper deduplication in place. And for purchase event, it's really easy because you can just send the transaction ID back to the server, which is unique to the each transaction. But what about other events like page view or view content? Add to cart, you can do that as well. But the way we are making each event unique is loading, basically enriching that information with the form of click ID along with the timestamp and then the associated event that's happening, because timestamp is going to be unique for each event, and that's actually helping us deduplicating the issue. Okay, so for example, If I just quickly resume, just refresh this page, and this all of this has been achieved after a ton of trials, errors, and failures, and it's just crazy. And I mean, we're still trying to see how we can improve it further, but that's what it is. Okay, so as you can see, event ID, which is actually helping us in deduplication. So this is actually the epic lead information that we have in here, along with the timestamp when this event gets fired, and then this is actually the last event, which is actually the view content event, and the same thing that we're doing with the page view event as well. Okay, as you can see that this is the event epic lead information that we have in here, and then this is the timestamp, and then this is page view. We're also sending external ID information, hashed external ID, which is actually enriching all of these events and sending it back to the uh, to the to the uh, to the pixel, which is actually helping us in do duplicating. Okay, there is one issue that's left for us to resolve, is that Pay Kickstart is sending like private personal information to Facebook, like buyer email, vendor email, and all of those emails in the form of URL query. Theoretically, we do have a solution for that, but we haven't implemented that. But we will play around with it, and I'll let you guys know if that actually helped. But we haven't implemented that yet. But that's the only issue where left so far. Other than that, we've pretty much resolved all the issue. Now, uh, all of this information has been really helpful in telling Facebook and building quality seed audiences, and basically giving all the user information that we can, enough information to Facebook, because this is what it's all boils down to. Okay, because browser events are going to go down. So I read this post. Where was it? And I took a screenshot of this to share that with my team. But as you can see that like browser events are gonna go down, but web pixel they're gonna go down. So if you guys don't migrate to KP, you're gonna struggle, because you're gonna have to start running campaigns for traffic and clicks, which is not ideal, of course. So this is something that that's gonna help you everyone in the long run. Now, the way it's happening, it's pretty much like a lot in here. So I mean, this is processing all the relevant information, which is then after basically getting the Facebook token. I'm not going to show you the Facebook token in here, but that is actually being used in here, and to process this payload, and then send that information to the server along with the FPQ event, and we have the ability to fire FPQ event or server event wherever we want, and we can actually include all of that payload information in here. As you can see that this is the unique event ID to make it unique, cookie FPK timestamp, and then the conversion type, like I said, which could be view content, add to cart, initiate checkout, purchase, and all of that information. So that is the FPQ event. And then we have the Facebook base pixel, and we're also adding event ID in here, along with external ID, which just shared how we're doing that. And then, of course, we're sending that information in the form of like for part to server information. There it is. In the form of data layer push to all of these uh, uh, to the Facebook server. Okay, now we're picking this information from URL because that's the only option we have right now. Whenever someone makes the purchase from Kickstart, that information gets passed to the next page via URL, provided you have that option selected in your funnel, and you can pretty much like grab that information and plug that information and put sorry, push that information to anywhere you like. And that's how we are achieving that. As you can see, there are a bunch of different tags that we've been playing around with, pausing and making sure that it works. So we did the same thing with ClickFunnels as well. Right now, this is working for Kickstart and ClickFunnels because we're testing some things over at ClickFunnels. But yeah, I mean, this is going to be really, really great. Uh, I I'm sorry if like this, I mean I don't know how to cover all of that information in this simple loom because I need to make sure I don't want to show you some other information like my access tokens and stuff like that or API in this Loom, but this is all of these uh, tags or variables that you're seeing that are in Facebook API. They are all playing role in setting this up. If I go to folders, you're gonna see that like there are all of these events variables, tags, and triggers. They're all part of Facebook API that are basically helping us achieve all of this information, like hash pay, kickstart, billing phone, billing state, first name, last name, and then there are some bunch of different CF as well, and stuff like that. So that's how we've been able to achieve it. If you guys are playing around with it, I can probably help a couple of you guys set this up so we can compare the results, how it helped you like improve your numbers. So I mean it's not going to be possible for me to help everyone because it's time is limited, but I'm going to help you guys to set this up for you guys, and just let me know how that improved your results and attribution, and just that's what it is. I hope you guys like it. If you have any question around this, just shoot that in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to answer as many as I possibly can. Okay, I hope uh, this helped to some extent. And yeah, have a great day.